And we're live.
Gotta be tens of thousands of dollars a night.
We have to talk about Conor's first pitch.
Oh, my man. Look, Conor can't help but embarrass me as a Conor fan.
Wait, what did he do? Did he give a horrible first pitch?
My God.
All right,
it's amongst the worst first pitches in the history.
First of all,
let's take a chance. Zach,
it's been a bad month for
video.
Conor. Before we even get to the pitch, he got into a scuffle with Machine Gun Kelly at the MTV Music Awards or some shit. A guy who literally has his face bedazzled. I know somebody who knows Machine Gun Kelly. You do too, and like who has hung out with him before. And we were talking about this, and he's like, Machine Gun Kelly is an artist or whatever, but he's actually kind of a tough guy. Like no illusions that he can beat up Conor McGregor. Don't get me wrong, but what they were saying was like, he's not the kind of guy who would punk out to anybody. Like he'd rather take an ass whipping than be a bitch about something. And apparently Conor asked him for a photograph, which is already very weak sauce. If you're Conor McGregor asking MGK for a photograph, and Machine Gun Kelly is like, no thanks. And I guess Conor gets in his face a little, and Machine Gun Kelly shoves him, making Conor spill his drink because Conor is on with a cane right now from his broken leg. Conor throws the drink on Machine Gun Kelly. Now security's involved, and Conor throws a punch, a terribly inaccurate punch that has been captured on camera, while Machine Gun Kelly is clutching Megan Fox, shielding her from the blow. And there's just this wild fucking punch coming over everyone's head. So
is there a video? There's a video of that, or just the stills?
Stills and video that's very hard to make out. But that's the breakdown from multiple sources. And then, of course, this week, as Woody was alluding, for some reason, they have the man throwing out the first pitch at some baseball game, and it's one of the all-time worst. Here it is.
Watch. I like the mascot. Look at the mascot's impression.
He looks back at him like, the fuck?
I meant expression. But yeah.
Oh my God! It hits the wall.
It hits the wall. It goes bouncing behind the plate. It is one of the top 10 worst of all time. You can't argue. There's no arguments, especially when if you start discounting the people who were clear non-athletes. If you put a girl up there, put a blind person up there, they've done that before.
Right.
It's
you don't expect the same things from Roseanne Barr or older politicians or whatever,
you say that George Bush not only threw from the plate or from the mound, which is an uncommon thing, mind you. Can we roll it back one more time and see if he's throwing from the mound or from the base of the mound? I think he's from the mound.
I see it, Ram.
Very much unrecommended by me. Let's just say that. If you're not dialed in, if you're not a baseball player or something, you don't throw from the mound. He is on the mound.
How far is it from the mound to the plate?
I don't know exactly, but what I'm getting at is that normally, non-athletes, people who you don't want to embarrass themselves, he's got his foot behind the fucking rubber. That's everything about this is wrong. He's throwing in a tight suit as well, which is a terrible thing. George Bush threw from the fucking mound, not in front of the mound, threw a fucking strike with a little heat on it, didn't bounce it in, and the man was wearing not a sports coat, but a zip up wind fly thing with a bulletproof vest under it, of course, because it's a week after 9/11.
President. Wasn't he a baseball player or something?
He owned a baseball team. Does that count?
Maybe I didn't know if he did that because he loved it.
He owned the Rangers, or at least a significant portion of them. I don't recall if he played baseball, but I watched this thing recently where it was him being interviewed, and he's talking about I wasn't nervous at all. I can throw a ball. I was downstairs under Yankee Stadium, and they had a thing set up for me so I could throw, and I was throwing. Everything was going well, and Derek Jeter walked in. This is George Bush talking, and Derek Jeter walked in. He's like, "Hey, hello, Mr. President. How are you?" "Great, Derek. How are you tonight?" Just to let you know, Mr. President, are you throwing from in front of the mound or on the mound? He's like, "Well, I was going to throw from in front of the mound." You don't want to do that. Not in front of this crowd. They'll boo you. And I'll tell you what else. Don't bounce it, or they'll boo you for that too. He's like, and now I'm nervous. Derek Jeter just said that they're going to boo me out of Yankee Stadium if I don't throw it from on the mound, which I hadn't been prepared for, and they're going to boo me if I bounced it in.
Thousands of people disliking me all around the country. I don't know if that's something I can handle for the next 8 years.
But this was at the height of like Bush mania, though, right?
Yeah,
Like
was
he had
killing
stood
it.
on the rubble with the fucking megaphone.
Mhm.
He had bombed some shit already. I think maybe at this point, like we were oorah mode, and he came out there, and to his credit, say what you want
Killed
about
it.
murdering 1 million Iraqis and all, and that $1 trillion conflict, but
Killed that too.
That hadn't happened yet.
he fucking threw a strike with a little zip on it as like a
He did.
50-something-year-old man.
I think W has the best politician first pitch I can think of.
Best
Did
I can
Trump
think of.
throw one? I feel
He
like Trump
didn't he?
Did he throw one?
I think he threw one. I think he lobbed it in from in front of the plate, and it was fine. It wasn't embarrassing. I have that memory. Maybe it's just some sort of like one of those things where you remember something that never happened, like Berenstein syndrome or something.
Yeah. The
But I
Mandela
have a
effect.
memory of him throwing a pitch and it being okay. Like maybe it was high or something. He didn't throw a strike, but like I have a memory of him throwing one.
Okay,
Carter
so
threw a
I'm
strike?
watching him throw one, and it was definitely good. But the one I'm looking at is from 2004, so it was like way
Okay.
before his presidency.
Yeah.
And like many pounds ago, as far as
Yeah.
like body and weight. And
It's a weird thing to be asked to
Oh.
do, right?
So as president, he is the first president in 109 years to not throw a first pitch.
oh man,
Smart.
yeah, that
I-
probably
again,
was
I
smart.
did-
He
I
knew he was
literally-
too fat.
I literally have the memory of him doing it, which is bizarre. I swear I can picture him in one of those big bulky suits he wears with the long
Looking
It's
like who's the Chris Christie?
looking like he's at a tombstone. Dude, I'll never forget seeing Chris Christie in person and thinking like, God damn, Donald Trump is a fit man. Like,
You saw it? Oh, that's right. You went to the rally.
yeah. Like seeing Chris, like I still have it in my head. Maybe it's just a good joke that like Donald Trump only kept him around the campaign back in those days because he made him look so slim. Because Chris Christie had this fupa, like he, they do this thing. They were sitting in chairs, the two of them. The chairs kind of cocked away from each other and pointed inward, both with mics in hand. Kind of it was very folksy. It was very town hall like, and Chris Christie had those like suspender socks that have the things that clamp onto them to keep them pulled way up, and they're like had some goofy pattern on them, and his pants are riding way up into his fupa area, and like you can clearly make out like not dick and balls, but like this big wad where they should be, and like he's just sweating, and there's Donald Trump over there looking fit by comparison, not looking ridiculous. His suit fits him very well, even when sitting. I'm sure, like
Also,
when he's getting a suit fitted, he's like, now let's see what it looks like when I sit down.
I think Trump gained a bunch of weight towards the end of the campaign and beginning of the presidency.
I think
Like
so,
that
too.
period is, and in his defense, it is hard to eat well and travel.
Yeah.
Maybe for him, there's a whole different set of rules. But I just, if you're on the road eating whatever they serve you on the airplane, it's gonna be garbage food.
It is his plane, though.
I know. That's where I was getting at with maybe the rules are different at that level. But I know if you put me on the road and I eat at restaurants, it's hard to have abs.
Dude, presidential
it's
first
excusable.
pitches used to be retarded. Like apparently it's like not, it's like fairly recently in regard to presidents that like the first pitch used to be they would sit in the stands and just toss it to the guys playing, or
Yeah.
they would turn around and toss it to the people in the stands. It's only like a few decades ago that they let him go to the mound and start throwing. Apparently Bill Clinton had a pretty good one too.
Jimmy Carter has a pretty good one. There's a presidential first link pitches that Zach linked.
Yeah.
And Carter's is as good as W's.
I would say no. If I were the president and they asked me to throw the first pitch, I would say no. There's very little gain and so much to lose.
I would find someone who was I would use all the technology I had to like get a really good pitcher who just retired the year before and put a bunch of prosthesis on him and then send him out there. And they're going to be like, God damn, what a fit president.
97 miles per hour from Taylor, from President Taylor.
Yeah.
Good Lord, sign this man up.
I
You see the
practiced
movement on
first.
that ball?
Yeah,
I wonder-
he was through
I
a
don't-
breaking ball.
I never played. I never played a
want-
throwing sport. I'd probably
They're putting
suck.
him in.
Well, I did a great job. What'd they say? I'm thinking about leaving the Oval Office for something that pays a little better.
The President of the United
That's
States.
a fun little tradition. Other sports don't really have that, I guess, because they're not structured in the same way.
Imagine putting a president on skates and having him do like the annual first slap shot.
Oh my God! Now Donald Trump out on the ice to make the historic first save. They put him in goalie equipment out there.
He's just like,
oh, that would be a true test of
or
metal.
boxing. What about boxing? If he was going to go out there and like
Throw the first punch. And take
throw the
first
first, and the first punch will be thrown by Donald Trump.
I hate this job.
Foreman's down.
Foreman's down.
Donald like whispers to Mike. He's like, Tyson, you got to take the dive here, right? You know you're going down, right? That's right, Mr. President.
That's right, Mr. President. You know how absolutely terrible I can make your life, right?
Right.
And we take another look at those rape charges.
Do you really want to be audited?
Yeah, just a weak pillow armed
Arm
bullshit
punch, yeah.
punch.